Good day, I am Canon C. Constantino from 1D BSN. So in this presentation, I am going to talk about my understanding of the physiology behind circulation. The blood delivers different nutrients and oxygen to the cells in our body. The circulatory system consists of the heart, the arteries, the veins that deliver blood throughout the body. As we all know, there are two types of circulation, namely pulmonary and systemic, which I will explain in the next slides. In this illustration, we can see that pulmonary circulation begins at the right ventricle and systemic circulation begins at the left ventricle. So in this slide, I'm going to explain about the flow of pulmonary circulation. The superior vena cava drains the deoxygenated blood from the organs lying superior to the diaphragm, while the inferior vena cava drains blood coming from the organs that lies inferior to the diaphragm. From the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, the blood will now be drained to the right atrium. As the right atrium puts pressure on the tricuspid valve, the valve will then force open and will now go to the right ventricle. The tricuspid valve is the valve between the right atrium and the right ventricle. With the help of the pulmonary semilunar valve, the blood in the right ventricle will now go to the pulmonary trunk. After that, the deoxygenated blood will now go to the pulmonary artery, to the arteriole, to the capillaries, the site of gas exchange. And with that, the blood will leave the capillary as now oxygen-rich and carbon dioxide poor. And after that, the blood will go to the pulmonary venules, to the pulmonary veins. So in this slide, I will now explain the flow of systemic circulation. The pulmonary vein will drain oxygenated blood to the left atrium. Because of the pressure from the atrium, the valve between the left atrium and the left ventricle, which is called the bicuspid valve, will be forced to open so that the blood will be drained to the left ventricle. With the support of the aortic semilunar valve, the blood from the left ventricle will now go to the aorta, which is the main artery that carries blood away from the heart. After that, it will now go to the systemic artery, the systemic arterioles, and to the capillaries. In the site of gas exchange, the oxygen is exchanged for carbon dioxide. Then the blood that will go to the systemic venule is now oxygenated blood. So for the summarization of my presentation, after the blood has supplied cells throughout the body with oxygen and different kinds of nutrients, it returns the oxygenated blood to the right atrium found in the heart. Then the deoxygenated blood shoots down from the right atrium to the right ventricle. The heart will then pump it out of the right ventricle and into the pulmonary arteries to begin pulmonary circulation. The blood that moves to the lungs exchanges carbon dioxide for oxygen, then returns to the left atrium. With that, the oxygenated blood shoots from the left atrium to the left ventricle to the aorta and will begin the systemic circulation once again. So that's it for my presentation. Here are my references. Thank